What's up guys, Infernape here. Now I'm actually going to do a video that I don't think has only ever been done once by one YouTuber. And I definitely think that this is a really fun video to make because it took me such a long time to figure out which Pokemon goes in which category. So I'm going to be discussing my favourite Pokemon from each category. Now when I say my favourite Pokemon from each category, I mean some of the most common ones, not like obscure ones like my favourite water-type Pokemon used by a gym leader. Like, I'm not going to be doing those sort of things. I'm going to be going over like my favourite Pokemon of all time, least favourite, favourite legendary, favourite shiny, favourite mythical, those sort of categories. But I'm not going to be going over my favourite Pokemon of each type because I've already made a video on that. Link is in the description if you're interested. Be sure to let me know down in the comment section below what are some of your favourite Pokemon from each category that I mention is. And if you think I missed out a category that you want me to say what my favourite Pokemon from that category is, be sure to let me know down in the comment section below and I will let you know. So without further ado, let's get into the video. Okay, I'm going to starting with my favourite Pokemon of all time. Now if you can't guess by the name of this channel, or if you haven't been here for very long, then you may not be able to guess. Alright, my favourite Pokemon of all time is Infernape. Now, when I first got into the Pokemon anime, my favourite Pokemon that Ash actually owned was his Chimchar, because he had such an emotional backstory with Paul. Like being basically Paul think he was weak, so he gave him up. Then Ash took over to prove Paul wrong, and he said to him that we don't need Blaze in order to prove that you're strong. Like, that is such an emotional backstory, and it took Chimchar quite a while to settle in with Ash, but after he did, he didn't care about Paul anymore, and he was fully settled with Ash's family, his routines, and his battling style. And when the Pokemon battle at Lake Acuity happened, that was one of my favourite moments in the Pokemon anime, because his Chimchar evolved into Monferno, and that was such a cool moment, because it became an absolute powerhouse. Even though he did lose the battle to Electabuzz, but still, it was such an emotional moment. But the best part about the Pokemon anime was when Monferno's Blaze activated, and he stopped the Team Rocket's balloon from hitting Electabuzz with some of Ash's captured Pokemon. And while that happened, he transformed the Blaze's power into evolution to become Infernape. That was just such an amazing moment, and I loved it ever since. And since then, Infernape became my favourite Pokemon of all time. Plus, I also really like how powerful Infernape is in the games. I have created a competitive Infernape, and it is a major powerhouse. Jolly nature, hidden ability, and EV train in speed, attack, and a little bit in HP, with the moves Fire Punch, Muck Punch, Swords Dance, and Thunder Punch. That moveset and that EV spread out can demolish any Pokemon on the field. But I've taken out quite a few legendary Pokemon with this Infernape, and I'm certain that this Infernape could take me to greater heights. Okay, now let's move on to my least favourite Pokemon. And if you hadn't seen my top 10 least favourite Pokemon, link in the description, spoiler alert, my least favourite Pokemon is Miltank. I despise Miltank, and for a very good reason. Because when my first Pokemon game that I ever got was Pokemon Heart Gold and Soul Silver. Specifically Heart Gold, but still, that's besides the point. I managed to sweep the first two gym leaders with ease. Emphasis on ease. But I came across the third gym leader. I took out her Clefairy with very, very, very little effort. And when her Miltank came out, I just thought to myself, oh, come on, it's a pink cow. It's going to lose with just one flame wheel. What I didn't realise is that it's got really high speed and defensive power and has one of the most trolliest movesets of all. Seriously, with Stomp, Rollout, Milk Drink and Attract, you're going to be stuck in one situation for quite a long time. Because in the Hard Gold and Soul Silver, your starter had a very high chance of being male. So, it can easily use Attract on you and just KO you. But if you're thinking about using your other Pokemon, that's going to be a high enough level to take down that Miltank and have decent moves to take out that Miltank, because that Miltank has some of the most powerful attacking moves of all, and especially with that Milk Drink. That Milk Drink can heal Whitney's Miltank up when if it ever runs out of potions. And if you thought that you could poison it to wear down its HP, or burn it to wear it down HP and halve its physical attacking power, it's got a Lumberry! So it can easily heal itself after that. And I'm also certain that Whitney's also got a full heal on standby, so if you decide to do it again, it'll just use full heal! And not only that, I have met several Miltank that have ended my streaks in the Battle Maison and in the Battle Tree. It was not fun. Most of them did have a Body Slam, Milk Drink, and Rollout, Shock Horror, and that was just some of the most trolliest movesets of all. I hated every second that I had to face a Miltank. The easiest I've ever beaten a Miltank before was when I actually faced Miltank in my playthrough of Pokemon on Heart Gold, which I'm still carrying on, and the next episode will be up tomorrow. Okay, now let's move on to my favourite starter Pokemon. You got 5 seconds to guess which one. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It's Chimchar. However, since I've already explained the whole Chimchar thing, I'm not going to explain it all in detail. But if I had to pick a second favourite, I would probably go with Froakie. Froakie's pretty cute, and it evolves into a pretty dope Pokemon. So, it's a worthy candidate. Okay, time to move on to my favourite pseudo-legendary Pokemon. And this is definitely a no-brainer for me. My favourite pseudo-legendary Pokemon is Garchomp. Now this one was definitely a no-brainer for me, because Garchomp looks like what a Pokemon should be. It's badass, it's powerful, and lots of people really, really love it. Now, Garchomp to me was just such a cool Pokemon. When I was first introduced to it in Pokemon Diamond and Pearl, I instantly loved it because it looks so badass and so powerful. Unfortunately, I was on the other end of Garchomp's attacking power, and it was pretty frightening. But after I saw how powerful it was, I wanted one. So when I got my first copy of Pokemon Platinum, I actually added a Gibble to my team and made it through with Garchomp. And Garchomp was such a powerhouse. I thoroughly enjoyed playing through with that Garchomp, and I just love using Garchomp for quite a few different playthroughs, because it can be used in loads of different teams in loads of different games. Not only that, it's so powerful in competitive play. I don't get why it's more powerful than its Mega Evolution, even though Mega Evolution is supposed to make you stronger. But there you go. I definitely think that Garchomp is a major powerhouse in competitive, because if you EV train it with attack, speed, and a little bit in HP, give it the Rough Skin ability, give it either a Rocky Helmet or a Life Orb, and give it the moves Swords Dance, Dragon Claw, Earthquake, and Iron Head, I'm fairly certain that this Garchomp could easily destroy most of the Pokemon that are on the opposite end of the field. Plus, it also really works in doubles, because say if you had a really powerful flying type Pokemon on your team, you can use Earthquake, and the flying type Pokemon won't be affected. Okay, I'm now going to move on to my favourite legendary Pokemon. Now, I don't think I've actually told many of you guys what my favourite legendary Pokemon is. If I have, then I am sorry. But my favourite legendary Pokemon is Rayquaza. Rayquaza is a perfect example of what a legendary Pokemon should be, compared to Cresselia. Rayquaza is just the most badass legendary Pokemon I have ever come across. It's so powerful in its like a non-Mega Evolution form, and I definitely think that this is the one of the most I know its design is pretty generic and pretty basic, but I just think that the basics are where Pokemon shine. Like basic Pokemon, to me, like some basic Pokemon can really shine. Like, I definitely think that Rayquaza has to be one of my most favourite Pokemon of all time. It might actually be in my top 10 favourite Pokemon, come to think of it. I definitely think that Rayquaza should be like a mascot somewhere. I haven't seen too many people use Rayquaza as a mascot, but I definitely think it should be because it is a fan favourite. And even though it's a fan favourite, it's still got a Mega, and yes, I know that some Pokemon who are fan favourites did get a Mega, but to me, Rayquaza doesn't look like one of those Pokemon that looks like it should Mega Evolve. But it can, and it's the most powerful Mega Evolution of all. For those who didn't already know, Mega Rayquaza is actually the most powerful Pokemon of all time, and for one reason only. It's a Mega Evolution that doesn't need to hold a Mega Stone in order to Mega Evolve. All it needs to do is know the move Dragon Ascent, and as long as it knows that, it is able to Mega Evolve. So that means you can always Aircon a Life Orb, a Dragon Claw, not a Dragon Claw, a Dragon Fang, sorry. Like, it's just so diverse. Plus, they actually made it too powerful for the Uber tier. So they had to make a brand new tier just for Mega Rayquaza. And it's called Anything Goes. Like, that's when you know that this thing is deadly as hell. Okay, time to move on to my favourite mythical Pokemon. And this should actually be a no-brainer if you watch my top 10 favourite Pokemon video. But I wouldn't be surprised if you didn't, because that video was like a year, 2 years old, something like that. But still, this is definitely a great Pokemon to have as a favourite mythical Pokemon. And that Pokemon is Darkrai. Darkrai's design is the epitome of badass. It's badass, it's scary, it's powerful, and it just looks so freaking cool. Plus, it's also got an awesome movie. You haven't seen Pokemon The Rise of Darkrai? You should. It's a great movie. I definitely think that, this is the epitome of a great Pokemon. Plus, have you seen how powerful it is in Smogon? All you need to do is move Nasty Plot and then sweep with Dark Pulse. Like, that alone could just sweep the whole competition. Like, I think that Darkrai is one of the best Pokemon that has ever been created. And we need to have more Pokemon like this compared to Klefki, Audino, and Dunsparce. Okay, now I'm going to be moving on to my favourite special event Pokemon. Now, there are certain Pokemon that you can only get through special events that aren't mythicals. And I definitely think that this one is definitely one of the best that's ever been released. And that Pokemon is Dusk Form Lycanroc. There's a good reason why Dusk Form Lycanroc is my third favourite Pokemon. I used it in my first playthrough of Ultra Sun, and I adored using it every single day. Like, it was just so fun to use. Like, especially with its signature ZA move, Splintered Storm Shot, I think it's called. Like, still, it was just so fun to use. Plus, its tough called ability, so handy to have on hand. Because if you use either, all of its physical moves, such as Thunder Fang, Fire Fang, Zen Headbutt, Drill Run, even Stone Edge, you're going to get a major power boost every time you use those moves. It was just so fun to have, and I have been trying to find a shiny version of it, so that way I can have a shiny Dusk form Lycanroc. Unfortunately, I haven't come across one yet, but I will find one. Eventually. Hopefully. Okay, now I'm going to be moving on to my favourite Ultra Beast. Not gonna lie, I hate most of the Ultra Beasts. Actually, I hate all of the Ultra Beasts apart from one. And I'm pretty sure it's the fan favourite Ultra Beast. If you haven't guessed by now, my favourite Ultra Beast is Naganadel. I adore Naganadel. It's just such a perfect Pokemon, and I'm not surprised why it's banned. It's like one of the most powerful Pokemon that has ever come out in Generation 7. All you need to do is give it a Dragon Pulse, Sludge Bomb or Sludge Wave, Flamethrower and Nasty Plot, EV Train it in Special Attack and Speed, and you've pretty much got a Destructive Force. Plus its design looks so awesome. Like, to me, it looks like what an Ultra Beast should look like. It looks different. It looks something that doesn't look like it's made as of something that's usually is something that's from Earth. And it just looks so cool. Plus, it's also really powerful, so that's an added bonus. Not only that, I love Naganadel's shiny form. Like, a shiny Naganadel looks so cool. It looks some sort of, like, mutated bumblebee. Funny enough, I actually have a shiny Naganadel, as well as a shiny Poipole, I think. But I adore my shiny Naganadel. It's so powerful. And I loved getting it through that event. I was trying to find one legitimately, but I took so many tries and it didn't work. So I just decided I'd cut out the middleman and just use the event shiny. While we're on the topic of shiny Pokemon, I'm actually going on to that topic next. I'm going to be going over my favourite shiny Pokemon. And funny enough, it's not Naganadel. It's actually something that's way cooler. And my favourite shiny Pokemon is Aegislash. I adore Aegislash. Like, it's just so cool. I mean, yes, at first, I was like, oh, it's just a shield and sword Pokemon. And I just don't think it's useless, But my opinion about it changed after I used it in a playthrough of X and Y. And I started to grow to like it, and then I actually always wanted to have a shiny Aegislash because I actually saw it as on like Google Images, and I thought it would look so cool, and I really wanted one. And after a while, I was looking for an Aegislash to help me take down the Battle Maison, and so I breeded an Aegislash I had with a foreign Ditto. Both of them were foreign. But after the first egg hatched, it popped out as a shiny Honedge. And I wasn't even trying to look for a shiny. I was shell-shocked. Like, I was jumping, screaming, swearing, running around the house. It was unbelievable as hell. Oh, it was just so funny. Like, I love this thing. Like, it's just so cool, and it's one of the best shiny Pokemon I've ever seen. And I personally think that should be its regular form, because it looks so demonic, so menacing, and looks so cool. Okay, now I'm going to be going over my favourite Pokemon from each generation. Yes, I know I have made a video on this before, but I thought I'd bring it up once again if you haven't seen that video already. Alright, I'll be starting with Generation 1. My favourite Pokemon from the first generation is Snorlax. Now, back before Snorlax became my some favourite Generation 1 Pokemon, I didn't really think it would actually be my favourite Pokemon from Generation 1. I thought it would always be Charizard. Because, well, I'm a bit... Charizard. Just Charizard. But Snorlax actually, it grew on me quite a lot after using it a little more in competitive play. And I'm one of those people who likes to use Curse-Lax. If you didn't already know, Curse-Lax is basically a Snorlax with Curse, just to annoy the hell out of you, because Curse on a Snorlax is basically a Snorlax on steroids. It's just so powerful, and I definitely think it is just such an awesome Pokemon, and it's definitely worthy of being my favourite some Pokemon from Generation 1. My favourite Pokemon from Generation 2 is Typhlosion. Cyndaquil was the very first Pokemon I ever called my own, so it makes sense why Typhlosion would be at number 1. Like, I love Typhlosion, like, it's just so cool. Yes, its design is pretty simple, but as I said before, sometimes the simple designs can lead to great heights, apart from Klefki. Like, it's just so cool, and I just had such an attachment to Typhlosion ever since Quilava evolved into Typhlosion. And it's just so fun. Like, I adore using Typhlosion every time I use it. I'm pretty sure that Typhlosion is the only starter I'll ever pick when I'm playing a playthrough of Heart Gold, Soul Silver, or the originals. Like, it's just so cool, and I love it to bits. My favourite Pokemon from Generation 3 is Metagross. Metagross has everything that I see in a Pokemon. It looks powerful, it is powerful, it's pretty scary, it's badass, and it has an OP Mega Evolution. Plus, it can unlearn some really powerful moves as well. Like, I adore using Metagross every time I use it. Like, it's just so fun to use a Metagross in a playthrough or in competitive play. Like, it's just so fun. When mainly when I use Metagross, I use a Mega Metagross and have it use Iron Head, Zen Headbutt, Earthquake, and Ice Punch. But I definitely think that even when you don't use it in competitive play, Metagross is such a handicap when you're using it in the playthrough. Mainly in Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, because you can. It's probably the earliest pseudo-legendary Pokemon that you can actually get. It's just so fun to use, and it is hands down one of the best Pokemon I've ever seen. Plus, it has an amazing shiny, and I love shiny Mega Metagross. There, that's a tongue twister. As you can already guess, my favourite Pokemon from Generation 4 is Infernape, but a close second would definitely be Gliscor. Alright, time to move on to Generation 5. Not gonna lie, it is very difficult to pick a favourite Pokemon from Generation 5 because I hate that region and the majority of the Pokemon. But there is still one Pokemon that I love above all the others, and that is Volcarona. I love Volcarona. Like, it's just such a cool Pokemon. Its design is sleek, it's really a badass, a unique type, and it's just so cool. Plus, I also like using it in competitive play. Like, a Quiver Dance with Fiery Dance, pretty OP if I do say so myself. Like, I love using Volcarona. Like, I would happily use it if it didn't evolve at a really high level. Like, still, I just love using Volcarona. Like, it's just so fun to use in competitive play, because that's where I mainly use it, because if I use it in a playthrough, I'll have to pretty much use it in every single battle I ever use it in, because it takes quite a long time to evolve. If you don't know what level evolves at, it evolves at level 59, I believe. And there's one main reason why I love Volcarona so much. I was playing Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, and I actually came across a Larvesta on my Dex nav. So I crawled over slowly to see so I can catch it. But as soon as I ran into it, It was a shiny Larvesta, and I was gobsmacked. So I threw a quick ball at it, caught it immediately, and I actually EV trained it and gave it a moveset that will really come in handy in competitive play. And I have loved it ever since, and I still have it to this day. My favourite Pokemon from Generation 6 is Aegislash again, because of all the reasons I said earlier. But now we're going to go over to Generation 7. Now, this Pokemon actually it was introduced in the anime Generation 6, but in the games it was introduced in Generation 7. So I'm going to class it as a Generation 7 Pokemon. And that Pokemon is Ash Greninja. Now, I like Ash Greninja because it's basically Ash's version of a Mega Evolution. Plus, when I actually used it in the Sun and Moon demo, I loved using it. So I decided to transfer it to my version of Sun, and it pretty much destroyed all of the competition. I love Ash Greninja so much. If only there was a way to get a shiny Ash Greninja, then I would happily I'd just be like set for life. Like, I just love Ash Greninja so much. It's just so awesome. Plus, I just love it to bits. Like, I loved it every time it was used in the anime. I loved it every time I use it in a battle, in either an in-game battle or in competitive play. And it's just so fun to use, and I just feel like it's underappreciative. We need to appreciate Ash Greninja more because of how powerful it is. Okay, now I'm going to be moving along to my favourite fossil Pokemon. Not gonna lie, it was definitely very difficult to pick one, but I managed to find one. So my favourite fossil Pokemon is Tyrantrum. To me, Tyrantrum was one of the most powerful and one of the most badass fossil Pokemon that has ever come out. Like, I adore it to bits. It's just so cool. Like, I love Tyrannosaurus Rex. Like, the Tyrannosaurus was definitely one of my favourite dinosaurs as a kid. So when they made it into a Pokemon, I was pretty happy. Like, it was just so fun. Like, it just looks so cool. I love it. Like, plus, I love that it has quite a lot of like crunching moves, and it makes its ability Strong Jaw, which powers up all moves that have bite in its name, which involves biting. So bite, crunch, fire fang, those sort of moves gain a power boost, and it's just so fun. I just love Tyrantrum to bits. Okay, now I'm going to be moving along to my favourite shiny legendary Pokemon. I know this is quite specific, but oh well, I'm making the list. Alright, my favourite shiny legendary Pokemon is shiny Rayquaza. I'm not going to be saying too much about shiny Rayquaza because I already discussed about Rayquaza, but I'll share a little bit. Like, I actually got my Rayquaza through this special event, and basically there was a serial code where basically if you enter it, you can get a shiny Rayquaza which can eventually learn Dragon Ascent, so that way you can have a shiny Mega Rayquaza. And once I got it, it was definitely one of the most powerful Pokemon I have ever owned. It was just so fun to use. Like, I gave it the moves Draco Meteor, Dragon Ascent, Earthquake, and some other move. I can't remember what else I gave it. But it was just so fun to use, and I loved using it every time I used it in a battle. Okay, now I'm going to be going over my favourite shiny Pokemon that I do not have, but I really want to find. Very specific, I know, but oh well. My favourite shiny Pokemon that I don't have, but I want, is shiny Greninja. I feel like this Pokemon is one of the most sought after shiny Pokemon when it came to shiny hunting. Like, shiny Greninja looks so sleek, so badass, and it just looks like a ninja. Like, it's just so so fun to look at. Like, I love Shiny Greninja so much. I've always wanted it to soft reset for one, but soft resetting for a shiny Greninja in X and Y isn't fun, because you have to go over to your friends, come up with a nickname, pick your Pokemon, then wait for the others to pick their Pokemon, and see if you get the lucky shiny. And if you don't, you have to do it all over again. So I just need to find a foreign Froakie and a foreign Ditto, so that way I can increase my chances of getting a shiny Froakie. Okay, now let's go over to my favourite regional bird. Not gonna lie, at first I thought it was going to be Staraptor, but I actually changed my mind at the last minute. So, my favourite regional bird is Talonflame. Now, I have to say, Talonflame to me is the perfect regional bird. It's so badass, pretty powerful, and it just has an amazing design. Like, I adore Talonflame. Like, I definitely think that it should be in more games, to be honest with you. Like, I think it could be a perfect Pokemon onto use in Pokemon Sword and Shield. Like, I definitely think that Talonflame is a great regional bird, if not the best regional bird, with its hidden ability in Gale Wings. If you didn't know what that ability does, it powers up all of its flying type moves, I believe? I think so. Like, all you need to do is use Gale Wings Brave Bird and you can pretty much knock out the whole competition. If I had to change one thing about Talonflame, I would probably say change its shiny. Its shiny isn't great, not gonna lie. And in Generation 6, that was when the Pokemon creators started hand-making their shinies. So they decided to make it more red. Brilliant work, Game Freak. Like, I think it would be better if we changed the red to blue. Like, I think that would be a really nice change, to be honest with you. But despite me not liking its shiny, it's still an amazing regional bird. Like, I love Talonflame to bits. Okay, now I'm going to be going over my favourite evolution. And I gotta say, this was definitely a really, really easy pick for me. My favourite evolution is Umbreon. To me, Umbreon's design looks so sleek and cool. Like, it's kind of like the creature of the night. I love Umbreon. Like, it's just so cool. Its design's really, really sleek, really cool looking. And I also really like how useful it is in competitive play. Like, all you need to do is put a curse on it, then and throw some Toxics, Moonlight, and use let no payback, and you've got a pretty powerful Dark-type Pokemon on your side. Like, plus it's shiny, maybe simple, but as I said, simplicity sometimes can be quite creative. Like, I love Umbreon, and I definitely think it's one of the most popular evolutions in the Pokemon community. Okay, now I'm going to be going over my favourite baby Pokemon. I'm not going to lie, finding one was definitely very difficult, but I found one. And that Pokemon is Elekid. I think Elekid is so cute. Like, it's just so cute to look at. It's just so fun. Like, I just think every time you see an Elekid, you're just at ease. Like, I love looking at Elekid. Like, it's just so cute to look at. Like, I just love Elekid. It's just so cute. Plus, I love that it has the potential of evolving into an Electabuzz, and later on, one of the most badass Pokemon of all, Electivire. Okay, now I'm going to be going over my favourite new evolution of an older Pokemon. If you don't know what this is, it's basically when an older Pokemon, some say like Generation 2, then as a brand new evolution in say like Generation 5 or 6. That's what I'm talking about. And for me, it's a very easy pick. My favourite Pokemon of that category is Gliscor. Gliscor to me is just the perfect Pokemon in my own opinion. Like, it's badass, it's cool, it's powerful, and it's useful in the playthrough of any game. Like, I definitely think that Gliscor needs to be more respected. I adore this thing. It's just so cool. Like, I just think that Gliscor is so cool. Like, I love using it in Pokemon on Platinum. That's where I first used Gliscor. And it was really, really useful in that playthrough. I loved using it every time I used it in Pokemon Platinum. And I've actually had one in Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon that I used for competitive play. It has Poison Heal, and it's it's kind of wacky, and as well as its EVs. But it does have the moves Earthquake, Roost, Swords Dance, and Facade, I think. And it's holding the Toxic Orb, which makes use of its hidden ability, Poison Heal. I definitely think that Gliscor needs to be more respected, because it is one of the best Pokemon in the franchise, in my own opinion. Okay, now I'm going to be going over my favourite legendary trio. And I definitely found it quite difficult to pick one, but I actually came up with something quite cool. My favourite legendary trio is the Creation Trio, which is Dialga, Palkia, and Giratina. If you didn't already know by now, I'm a bit of a Generation 4 fanboy. And I gotta say, I loved the lore of Generation 4, especially how these three Pokemon, basically with Arceus, created the entire Pokemon world. And I loved learning that in the Pokemon games as well as the anime. Like, it was just so fun to learn. Like, I definitely think that Generation 4 had the best story when it came into the Pokemon games and the anime. And that's why I love the Creation Trio as much as I do. Now I'm going to be going over my favourite Mega Evolution. And for this one, it's definitely a no-brainer. My favourite Mega Evolution is Mega Charizard X. To me, Mega Charizard X is definitely the best Mega Evolution that actually came out. Like, I love using Mega Charizard X. Like, I think I'm becoming obsessed with using Mega Charizard X, not gonna lie. Like, every time Mega Charizard X is available in any game, I will use it. I just love Mega Charizard X. It was actually not including Mega Lucario. It was the first Mega Evolution I actually used, and I definitely really, really liked using it. It's just so powerful, and I love how many moves it can learn that can definitely support its weaknesses. I even have my own competitively made Mega Charizard X, and it has Fire Punch, Dragon Claw, Roost, and Earthquake. And it's also EV trained in attack, speed, and HP, I believe. And I definitely think that this is a perfect Mega Evolution in every way, shape, and form. Plus, I also like the added bonus of it being a Dragon type. Okay, now I'm going to be going over my favourite Alolan form. Not gonna lie, I'm not a big fan of most of the Alolan forms. But there is one that I do kind of like, because if I had to pick one out of all of the Alolan forms, I would probably go with Alolan Marowak. To me, I definitely think that Alolan Marowak is a better version of this original Marowak. Like, I love Alolan Marowak. Like, it's just so cool. Like, I like the fact that it's a fire and ghost type. And it's just so cool. Like, I definitely think that this is the best Alolan form by far. Like, its high physical attack and high speed, like, definitely helps it out. Plus, it also has two handy abilities. My personal favourite is Lightning Rod, but Rock Head can come in handy if you use Flare Blitz. But Lightning Rod can be quite handy in doubles, but it depends what you like to use. Do you want to use Rockhead or do you want to use Lightning Rod? I'm happy with either, but yeah, I don't really mind either way. I definitely think that Alolan Marowak is by far the best Alolan form that has ever come out. Next up, I have my favourite Pokemon that is incapable of evolving. And this was definitely a no-brainer. My favourite Pokemon that is incapable of evolving is Heracross. To me, Heracross is definitely the best bug type in the whole Pokemon franchise. Like, it's just so cool, so sleek, so badass, and it can kick ass. Like, I love using Heracross every time I have one. Like, I mainly use it in Heart Gold and Soul Silver though, because the only other game that I can actually get it in and use it properly is Pokemon Diamond, Pearl and Platinum, but they are very, very hard to come by. Not gonna lie. Like, it's just so fun to use a Heracross. Like, if you use a Heracross, you are a trainer that means business. And I just think that Heracross needs more love because it's just such an adorable and powerful Pokemon. I just love it to bits. Now I'm going to be going over my favourite Pokemon that evolves by trading. And this one was definitely hard to figure out because there aren't too many Pokemon that I'm overly fussed with that are tradable. So I had to go with some Pokemon that I'm okay with but don't overly, like, I love. And that Pokemon is Alakazam. Now, Alakazam is definitely not in my top 10 favourite Pokemon, but I don't hate it. It's kind of cool, and I gotta say, it's definitely useful in quite a few different playthroughs, especially Generation 1. However, I don't know anybody else who has Pokemon Yellow, Red or Blue, so unfortunately I can't trade my Kadabra over to anybody else so I can get an Alakazam. So I can't really use it, but it's still really helpful in different playthroughs, such as Heart Gold and Soul Silver, for example. Like, or maybe even Fire Red and Leaf Green. Like, it's just so useful, and it's very powerful. I definitely think that Alakazam is definitely one of those Pokemon that needs a little more love. Not too much, because I think it's one of those Pokemon that isn't overly popular, but I still think it's pretty cool. Okay, next up is my favourite Pokemon that evolves by using a stone. Now, if you haven't guessed, my favourite Pokemon that evolves by stone is Aegislash. But if I had to pick a second, I would probably go with Gallade. Because Gallade is also one of a really, really sleek Pokemon, has a really nice design, and I definitely think that Gallade could definitely use a little bit more respects, because I feel like Gallade is really, really underrated, and I really think it needs a little more love. Like, I think that Gallade is really, really awesome, really badass, and has a decent Mega Evolution at the same time. Because I don't really think that never really knew that capes can actually look good on a Pokemon, but until I saw Mega Gallade, I thought, hey son, that looks good on you. Okay, next up is my favourite genderless Pokemon. Now, I have to admit, my favourite genderless Pokemon is Metagross again. But if I had to pick a second favourite, I would probably go with Rotom. Because Rotom is very, very useful, especially in its Rotom Wash form. Like, I love using Rotom Wash. Like, it's just so fun to use. Like, Thunderbolt, Hydro Pump, Hex, Will-O-Wisp, and with that, berry that decreases any grass type moves can actually be really useful in the competitive play. And the last category is my favourite shiny Pokemon that I found. And it's quite an easy pick for me. My favourite shiny Pokemon that I found was my shiny Honedge. Because I just really wanted to find a Aegislash that had the adamant nature, and on the first egg that I actually hatched, it was a shiny Honedge, and I was just so happy because I wanted that shiny for such a long time, and I was over the moon when I actually found it. And there you have it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video as much as I did, and be sure to let me know down in the comment section below what are your favourite Pokemon was from each category that I mentioned. Be sure to let me know down in the comment section below what are your favourite Pokemon was from each of the categories that I mentioned, And if you think I left out, I'll say category, let me know down in the comment section and below, like that category, what your favourite Pokemon is in that category, and I'll let you know what my favourite Pokemon is from that category that you mentioned. If you enjoyed this video as much as I did, be sure to give it a massive thumbs up, comment down below, share this video with a friend, and if you're new, subscribe to my channel. It's been Inferno today. Okay, that's all from me, so until the next time, this is Infernape, signing off. Bye!